in section 5.4.3, related Sage code. Again, I'm looking at it, I'm really starting to think that it's a rather repetitive process, by the way. What are we doing? Resetting, defining variables, an equation, we're assigning equation 1 and 2, and then we're solving a system of equations for the x, y. All right? So I'm going to say that's easy to type in, and hopefully you realize relates to one of these problems over here. What I prefer to do is I'm wondering if I've learned anything over the past where I could actually maybe look at a problem without seeing code and do it myself. So I want to look at problem number 1, and what I'm going to do with number 1 is, I'm looking at it, and I'm going to, always start out with is reset, and this is an integer problem. Looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bottom number is 2, 6, 24, 120. I'm starting to realize it's basically a summation, but the summation doesn't stop. Now, if you can't remember, what you do is type in the word sum, hit the tab button, and you're going to see blah, 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 only 2 commands over there. Let's say I say it's probably sum because I haven't seen sum of k squareds. So let's put this over here, sum with a question mark, and hit return. And what happens, I'll get this whole, whoops, sorry about that. I get a whole story about what sums are doing for me. All right, now again, you may want to look over that and say, gee, I could probably read through that if I wanted to, but I'm not that interested. What I want to do is I kind of remember, but I make mistakes. So sum, and oh, you know what? I forgot to define my variable, which is n, right? So that's good. I remembered that. So n is some kind of variable. You could say assume as n is an integer. I don't know if I want to do that right now. I just want to see what happens. And let's just do this. Sum. And what are we going to sum? Let's see. It looks like I'm summing n, and I'm dividing by something. Now I'm hoping you recognize those bottom numbers are factorials. It's a factorial. And I hope you remember we've seen that before. But it looks like the factorial is n plus 1. All right, let me just see if I did that. So I'm counting from n, and I'm starting with 1. Let me see if that's true. Well, I definitely get the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, it goes on forever, by the way. We'll get there in a second. I want to see if the bottom numbers what I get. 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 4 factorial. Yes, it looks beautiful. Here's the problem, though. I wonder, can Sage do it? Now, I know this looks strange to you. I just typed in 00. 00 in Sage is supposed to look like an infinity. All right, and that does look like an infinity right now. If someone said that to you, it's an infinity. Let's hit the return. Let's hope we get an answer. And lo and behold, it did the infinite sum, and it says equal to number 1. Now, we went through the work, by the way, and it was a lot of work, but we did find out it is 1. How do we do it? Partial sums. We saw that as a relationship, maybe to another function. But the bottom line is, you may say that one way is easier than the other. Sage is probably the easiest way of doing it. Yeah, it is easy, but it's not always the easiest way. Sometimes the most difficult way is going to Sage. You really just need to start to focus in on what's being asked of you is to do these things by hand. And there's a variety of ways of doing it. Partial sums, recognizing it has something to do with E, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line, we're going to get the answer 1 each time. All right? Thank you.